Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I am your host, Ashley Live. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday evening. Tonight we have Kayla Seeber. She's from season 16 of NBC's hit show The Voice, songwriter, and guitarist. Kayla is in the room now, so I'm going to bring her on in, and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. This is going to be an awesome show. We're going to interview Kayla. She's going to sing for us. She's going to take some of your questions. So if you guys have questions for Kayla, please feel free to put them in the chat below towards the end of the show. And I'm really excited to have everybody in the room that's here tonight. And I am going to invite Kayla in. So guys, where are you tuning in from tonight? Say the city and the state that you're in. I'm here in New York City. Hi, Kayla. How are you?
Hello.
How's your evening going?
It's going good.
Awesome. So I was just introducing you to the room, and I start each show off with a song lyric. So sometimes I share my lyric with the artist, sometimes I don't. It just all depends on if they're in the room at the right time or not. But here you are, so I'm just gonna bring it, okay?
Okay.
The moment that I step outside, so many reasons for me to run and hide. I can't do the little things I hold so dear, because it's all those little things that I fear, because I'm just a girl.
I love that song.
I know you do. And for those of you who don't know, that's Just a Girl by No Doubt. Kayla has actually covered this song. So
Fans.
yes, you've covered so many incredible different songs. What about this song speaks to you, Kayla?
Well, I've just been a big fan of No Doubt because my aunt, I remember when I was a kid, she would always play No Doubt in the car.
Yeah.
And I became like a really big fan of Gwen Stefani. And I just there was a while where all I would listen to was her whole discography, and Just a Girl like really stands out to me. Just me being a girl and trying to like make my mark in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, and I feel like that song spoke to what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Gwen wrote it at a time when she didn't really even know where she was going or who she was. And she's like, I'm just a girl trying to make my mark, trying to, be in this ska punk band and really dominate the world.
Yeah.
So it's April and it's International Guitar Month. You're a guitarist, for those of you, the people in the room that do not know. Who is a guitarist that inspires you, Kayla?
A guitarist that inspires me. Let's see. I'm trying to think of people that I really look to. I'm drawing a blank. There's this one TikToker, guitar player. I'm blanking on her name, but she just like pretty much any girl guitar players, people that I look up to. I like seeing that on my timeline or my feed. Just because nothing against guys. Guys are good guitar players too. But I just feel like in this day and age, it's really refreshing to see like women playing guitar, whether or not they're like rhythm guitar or lead guitar. So in general, what inspires me is just women playing guitar, period. Because
I think that's awesome. And the cool thing about social media, TikTok, Instagram, like all these, social media network channels where you can do like short videos, there's so many female guitarists. They're badass. And they're awesome. They're so good. And when you see them, you're like, whoa, where did she come from? And then you find out like, oh my gosh, this person's like on the other side of the world. But it's so cool how social media connects us all together.
For sure.
So bring us back to your childhood and how this all got started. Who inspires you to get into music, and how old were you?
Well, when I was really young, like I want to say 3 or 4, I would spend a lot of time at my grandma's house, and my uncle Chad was living there at the time, and he is like a music major, has been doing music since he was younger too. And like I just remember being at my grandma's house, and they would set up like pots and pans in like a drum set sort of shape.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, and I would just play pots and pans, and then he would take me down in the basement, and he had like an actual drum set and like marimbas and stuff. And just like watching him play the guitar and his instruments, like I don't know, it was just something that mesmerized me as a kid. And then he ended up buying me my first guitar when I was 6 on my 6th birthday, and it would just sit in my room for like a couple years. And then around like 9 or 10, when Justin Bieber was like a big thing, I was like, dang, I want to be like him. And so I went into my room and I started learning Justin Bieber songs. So, and like
love that.
Stuff like
That's
that.
so cool. Like,
So,
I think of where I was when I was 6, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was very young at 6 years old. I'm like, if someone bought me a guitar, I'd be like, oh, this is fun. Like, so it's cool that you started that young.
yeah, it's definitely it's been a long journey for sure.
Still continuing to go. How would you describe the music that you create?
That's a good question because it changes so much. But because I listen to a lot of different music, I've gone through a lot of different phases. Like in middle school, when everyone was going through like their emo phase, I was going through like a country phase. So I've listened to pretty much anything. But as of right now, in this current moment, I would say my music, or the music I'm trying to make, is kind of reminiscent on like 90s like British bands. I don't know how to describe it. That kind of like you hear it in a coming of age movie.
Yeah.
Type of feel is kind of what the direction I want to go into. Like there's this band, the 1975, I listen to a lot, and Bebe Rexha is another artist that I am really into at the moment, and just stuff that they're making is kind of the I want to steer in. But it literally might change like a week from now, so who knows?
Yeah, but that's okay though, because the thing is, I know sometimes people are like, oh, well, I don't know what I would like call my style, and it's like, it's cool because like as artists, you guys always evolve, and it's like one album, one song could be different from the next.
Yeah.
But I would say like maybe like indie rock, like dream pop, like that kind of.
Yeah, definitely in the indie like alternative scene. I write like my songs, the structure of them is pretty pop, but at the end of the day, like I feel like it's very indie alt. I don't know.
So walk us through your creative process.
Well, I normally start off with lyrics, and then I'll fit guitar or like whatever instrumentation to that.
Yeah.
But I'm very like hook oriented. I don't know. I grew up listening to a lot of pop music because my mom listened to like Britney Spears and pop divas and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just have always been that way of just hook first. I always think of like that catchy like earworm. And then from there, I kind of branched it out and start writing the verses. The verses are the hardest part of writing a song for me. Some people start top to bottom. For me, I start in the middle and then spread it out. But yeah, I normally get inspiration too from like because not to say that my life is boring, but there's not much in my life like I can talk about or that is like interesting. It might just be a me thing.
Right.
Inspiration for like if my friend talks about an experience that she went through, I'll maybe write about that, or I'll see something online that someone mentions, and it'll just take like a spark of just one word. I'm like, ooh, that's a good like plot to write a song about. So I definitely get inspiration from other people, not really myself.
So the songs that you write, are they about your life, or is it like, oh, I just read this in the news, I'm inspired by that, I'll write something on it, but or a little bit of both?
Yeah, a little bit of both. There's some songs where they are about an experience that I went through in my life. Other songs, it's kind of, it might be an experience about my life, but it might be what's the word, embellished or something, or I'll like be making up stuff. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of both, just whatever.
So you write the hook first. Do you write it down? Do you record it in a voice memo? Like or is it like a little bit of both?
Voice memos.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I don't, they're lifesavers because I'm kind of forgetful. So if I have a melody in my head, I'll be like, I'll remember this. And then there's times where I don't, a potential song is just gone. So voice memos is, yeah, definitely. I just got a new phone like a week ago,
Uh-huh.
and that's the one thing I was like, oh my God, I need to somehow download all my voice memos, because if I lose everything.
Right.
So, yeah.
How many voice memos do you think you have in your phone?
Gosh. On my last phone, I want to say probably, I was scrolling for a while, so I'm going to say like 200 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely when you get a new phone, you're like, okay, I need all those. Like that's going to be something someday.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So you've covered songs by Dolly Parton, TLC, Amy Winehouse, Tom Petty, and countless others. Like when I listen to your cover songs, I'm like, she literally took like every random artist and just made it her own. What's your favorite song to perform and why?
My favorite song at the moment, is probably, I'm also doing it tonight, is Tongue Tied by Group Love. It's a song that I've loved since I was younger, and yeah, I don't know, it makes me feel good. So
yeah, feel good music, I'm into it. So what musicians inspire you?
Hayley Williams from Paramore is the first person that comes to mind. I'm a massive fan of Paramore. Yeah. And yeah, she's just like a powerhouse singer, and she's also really spunky on stage. I like with like really good stage presence, and she has it. Gwen Stefani is also someone who has really, really good stage presence. And I look up to her as well. Matty Healy from the 1975 is a big one too for me, because I just love people who are like entertain.
Yeah.
And trying to think if there's any others. Those are probably my big three. Mm-hmm. Hayley Williams, Gwen Stefani, and Matty Healy for sure.
Yeah. And I love how you said stage presence, because when you think of a performer, right, you can see him perform on like a Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon show, right? Yeah. But if you see someone live and they're just like standing there and they're just kind of awkward, you're like, what are you doing?
For sure.
Right? Like when I think of Gwen Stefani, she's like jumping up and down, like pumping her fist in the air, like literally covers every inch of that stage.
Especially in the 90s. Like I studied videos of her, and she was like a little spitfire up there. She was awesome.
Yeah. She still does it to this day, because Gwen Stefani has had one of those careers where it's just like, like I feel like she's always been around. She hasn't aged. Like she still has the same amount of energy she did. Like what?
Like I don't know how old she is, but she doesn't look like she's aged, I feel.
No, definitely not. Who would you most like to collaborate with?
Either Hayley Williams. That is probably like the only person that I would genuinely get like. I'm not the type that if I met a celebrity I would cry, but she'd be the person that I would cry if I got in a studio with her. I'd be like, oh my gosh. So Hayley Williams for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's this artist Clairo that I listen to a lot. I feel like I would love to collaborate with her, or Bebe. Yeah, there's probably some people that come to mind. Of I listen to their stuff, I'm like, oh, I wish I was on that. So.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. So in 2019, you were on season 16 of NBC's The Voice. For your blind audition, you sung Britney Spears' Baby One More Time. What made you pick that song for your blind audition?
The song meant a lot to me, not in a lyrical sense, but the fact that I used to be in this, it's like this, I don't know if you've ever heard of, like, they're called School of Rock. Sort of thing. I was in kind of like a knockoff version of School of Rock. Okay. It was called The House of Music, and we were doing a 90s set. It was just a bunch of like teenagers who would play music together, and we were doing a set that was all 90s music. And at the time I didn't really know much 90s music, and I just remember like my mom was like, oh, you should do like a Britney Spears song. Yeah. And so I brought to them like Hit Me Baby One More Time, but I said to them, like, I want to do it differently. I don't want to do it like exactly how it's supposed to be. Right. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of my music career, honestly. Giving that song to them and watching how it like turned into something different, and then I kind of had like stars in my eyes. I'm like, I want to do this for like everything I do, of make my own. And so I when it came time to picking an audition song, that was one that came to mind because I'm like, I want to show them that I can like totally flip a song and show who I am as an artist, that I'm not just going to sing a cover exactly how it's supposed to be, that I'm going to show them that I am an artist and I'm like a package deal. I'm not just linear. So
yeah, no, I think that's so important because I think, yeah, there's so many incredible songs that you could have sang, and then you put this pop song and you made it completely your own. And I applaud you for that because
thank you.
Now you've made it your own, and people are like, oh my gosh, did you hear her rendition of Baby One More Time? And it's like, it's so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Love it. So Bebe Rexha mentored you during the comeback stage. What was it like working with her?
It was really, it was like mind blowing being in the same vicinity as like a celebrity. I'm from a very small town.
Yeah.
The only celebrity that I've really seen is like Dog the Bounty Hunter in an airport. I don't meet celebrities where I'm from. And so like seeing her, and I think she was nominated for a grant, or she was nominated for something at that time. And so she was like up top of her career. She still is, but like it's at that time. And getting feedback and advice from her was like really just, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word for it, but it was just, I don't know, it was like really surreal of the fact that I was sitting in the same room as someone who had literally like a top Billboard chart hit. So yeah, and she was also really nice too. She gave me a lot of feedback and was trying to encourage me to step out of my comfort zone because I have kind of a lower voice.
Yeah.
And she was encouraging me to go take songs higher than I would normally take them. And I was like really apprehensive, but it's Bebe Rexha, so she probably knows better than I do of what will get you success. So yeah, she was really sweet and really down to earth. Didn't make me feel intimidated at all.
What was one of the best pieces of advice she gave you?
Honestly, of just to take a risk, that you can't always play it safe and play it in the key that you think is best. Sometimes the audience wants to hear you take it up.
Yeah.
You like take risks sometimes, and you can't always just play it safe. And that was something that really resonated with me because I definitely agree that sometimes I play it safe, especially when it comes to my voice. Like I said, it's lower, so higher end stuff scares me really bad. Yeah.
But it's okay because you got to get out of your comfort zone and just see what you can do, and maybe you get comfortable in that higher register.
For sure. Yeah, now I play the what song did I do? It was that Two Door Cinema Club. Now I play it at the key that she told me to on the show when I play sets.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works.
Bebe knows best, right?
Yeah. Like that.
What surprised you about your time on The Voice?
All the really awesome people that I met.
Yeah.
Going into a competition show, at first I kind of thought it was going to be really, really competitive and everyone was going to be like keeping to themselves and like, you know, like, oh, I don't want you to hear my song and all that stuff. But the minute that I went to Los Angeles and started talking to people, like everyone was super like cheering each other on and was like a big family and everyone was so nice to each other. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a competition.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just here for each other and we're all singers and we all love doing the same thing. So yeah.
So are there any people from your season that you still keep in contact with that you're really good friends with?
Yeah, me and Kendra Checketts, I think she made it to like top 20 or something like that. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Yeah, it was her birthday yesterday and like we talked here and there, so.
That's awesome. Like, and I've talked to quite a few people from The Voice before, and they always say people are so nice. Like they meet like their significant others and their family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm just like, oh, that's so cool. Because, right, you think like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cutthroat and everyone's going to be so like in your face. But it's just like, it's the complete opposite. I also heard that even the producers and the judges and everybody else that you talk to is just so cool and just like, they're
the producers are really amazing too. Like, because they like, sometimes you're sitting there for like wait times for really a long time, and like all you have is like a producer to talk to, and they're just really, they calm your nerves, they help you get in the zone and help you not freak out, because sometimes in moments you tend to psych yourself out, and they're just like, no, you're here for a reason, and give you pep talks and everything. And yep, just the whole experience is really cool.
I love that. Very cool. Your debut First Time was released after you appeared on The Voice. What was the inspiration behind these tracks?
A big inspiration instrumental wise, I definitely wanted it to come off very DIY, because it was like, I have this piano in my room, and you can make like little track, like 5-track songs on it. And literally First Time and Gas Station Sushi and New York City Cool, all those drums are like keyboard drums. Like, it's not,
awesome,
not through like a software or anything like that. Like, I made all those songs pretty much by myself. I mean, my friend helped me produce it, but instrumental wise, like, I made all of it myself. And I just wanted to show people that like I'm able to do a lot with just being one person. And yeah, a lot of the songs on the EP are just talking about like the experience of growing up and experiencing new things. And like, my song New York City Cool was after I came home from Los Angeles, and I met people that were from New York City and Los Angeles, and I was just like a Midwestern kid, and I'm just like, I don't know how I'm in the same room as you guys. Like, I like, just tracks like that were just, at the time, like, experiencing new things, and growing up was pretty much the general theme of that.
What artists or genres of music have you been listening to during this quarantine?
This quarantine has exposed me to a lot of new music, because that's pretty much, quarantine has given me a lot of time to just listen to music.
Right?
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I've been listening to over the course of a year now, crazy. Is a lot of 1975. They came out with a new record last year that I was really excited about. There were some favorites on there. Viva just released a record, I think last year too. And just a lot of that like 90s inspired new music. Like, it sounds like being a 90s film, but it's being released right now. So just a lot of indie alternative. I just check my Spotify Discover weekly and see what's there. So
I think my Spotify Discover Weekly knows me better than like, it's like a family member to me.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
You're like, oh my gosh, what's my Discover Weekly playlist? Like, who are you recommending to me now? And then like you click over and you're like, oh yeah, and because I like this person, they think I like all these other people. So I definitely look forward to that too. I also like Release Radar, because then it's like, oh, everything that came out, everything that came out in the last like 3 weeks, and it's like the newer stuff, and it's like, oh, if you follow this artist, then here's this new single that they just dropped. So it's cool that Spotify has the capabilities to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
What song do you wish you wrote, and why?
I definitely wish I wrote the song Hard Times by Paramore. Paramore, their album After Laughter is literally like my favorite piece of music ever. Because I like songs with wordplay, because like my lyricism, I try to have play on words and like double entendres and stuff like that. And a lot of the songs on the After Laughter album, I wish I wrote that entire album, to be honest. Because a lot of it, like, not often do I hear a song where I'm just like, oh my god, I wish I wrote that, and you get like envy. You're like, how did they summed up these feelings so perfectly. I wish I did that. And the whole Paramore album, I wish I wrote it, but song specifically would be Hard Times.
Love it. So Kayla, what's next for you? Do you have any live streams coming up, singles, EPs, anything?
So I just released my song End of the World. And I'm projected to release a new song, hopefully in the next month or so. That was First Loves. I just had a EP called First Time, but now I have a song called First Love. And I'm really, really pumped about my up and coming single, because that's definitely like probably one of my favorite songs I've ever written.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hitting the exact part of my music that I want to explore right now. So definitely look out for my next single, because it's going to be like really, really authentic to how I want to sound.
Awesome. Can you tell us the inspiration by this, since you said it's like one of your favorite songs you've ever written?
If anyone's heard my song End of the World, First Love is kind of like a part 2 to that, because one line in End of the World where I say, and what's worse is even though it hurts, I still want to be your friend. But in Loves, I say, this is like my thank you next. Change my mind. I don't want to be friends. And End of the World was a song that talked about how I wanted to get back with this person and like, oh, take me back. Like, I want you back in my life type thing. And First Loves is just kind of like, actually, I understand why we broke up. I'm glad that we broke up. And now I'm like, it led me to a new person that I am grateful for, that I met, and I wouldn't have met if we didn't break up. So that's what, it's kind of like a part 2 to that narrative.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to see that, because you're with somebody and you're like, oh, I think this person is like the one. And all of a sudden you like break up and it gets really messy. And then you're like, wait, but this like actually happened for a reason, because now it had to teach me something.
Yeah. And that's what First Love is about, for sure. So.
Awesome. Love it. You have any collaborations coming up with any other people?
Not at the moment. I don't. But hopefully in the future. There's a couple people that I definitely want to work with. I also have a new band that I'm starting called Girl Howdy. We should be releasing music hopefully towards the summertime. But yeah, Howdy is like a collaboration between me and 2 other people. And yeah, we're going to be having some band music soon. So.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I'm really excited about that. We've been rehearsing consistently, and it feels like a real band now. So yeah.
How did you meet your bandmates?
I kept on putting on my social media, I'm like, I really want to be in a band. Someone please like start a band with me. And this kid, Noah, that I knew through like mutual friends, he swiped up, and he can play like every instrument under the sun. And he's like, I'll play drums for you. So we ended up getting together. Then he brought along his friend who he's in a band with as well, Charlie, onto Girl Howdy, because I guess they were going to have band rehearsal the night that me and Noah were rehearsing to see if we had like chemistry together.
Yeah.
And Charlie came, and then Noah's just like, do you want to be in Girl Howdy? And then he's like, okay. And so now he's stuck in Girl Howdy. So
So how did the name come up, Girl Howdy?
I've always been really into names that have like girl or boy in front of it. There's like this band I listen to called Boy Pablo. There's a singer that I listen to called Girl in Red. So I really like how that sounded, like boy or girl blank. And I'm from like rural America.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a country artist, and I really don't listen to country, but I did like having that like ha 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 little ode to where I came from. So I thought I would Howdy, and it just kind of sounds nice.
Yeah. I love Howdy. Like, I've never lived in the Midwest. I've always lived in New York, like upstate New York and New York City. And I love saying howdy to people, because they're like, what? Like, it's just like a nice way to say hello. And then they're like, oh, like, that's fun. And I'm like, so that's why I wanted to see where the howdy came from, because I love Howdy.
Where I'm from, because a lot of people are definitely yeehaw down here, so, or up here in Illinois. So it's not like I live in the South, but it's pretty like there's cornfields everywhere you look. Yeah. So
well, it's like you say hi, you say hey, and like everybody says those things, right? But like howdy, like it's just like you can't help but smile when someone says howdy to you.
Oh, and where are you? Because I'm originally from upstate New York. I'm from Syracuse, New York.
No, you're not. I'm born and raised.
No way. That's funny.
Born and raised in Syracuse?
Yeah, I lived in Syracuse until I was 6, and then I moved to Illinois.
Wow. What hospital were you born at?
I don't remember. It was in like the city of Syracuse.
Yeah, there's two or three hospitals.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was definitely in the city of Syracuse. But that's do you live in Syracuse right now?
Yeah. So born and raised in Syracuse. I moved down to Jersey for college.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in the city until this crazy pandemic. And then my mom was like, can you come up here? Like, you're in like the epicenter of the pandemic, because this was back in March. And so I was like, no, I'm not coming up to Syracuse. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Mm. And so I came up here in June, and I'm still here because I know what's going on.
Known that you were from, because the way that you say, I say Syracuse because I moved out when I was 6.
Yeah.
People who live in Syracuse, they say it like Sear.
Yeah.
So that's funny. I should have known.
That's awesome. What part of Syracuse were you living in at the time?
I was living in North Syracuse.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, for a lot of my life, I lived on, what was it called? I think it was like Burnett Ave or something like that. I lived towards like the city of Syracuse, and then we moved more towards like the suburbs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, North Syracuse.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I seriously didn't know that. That's so cool.
That's crazy, because I feel like in my life I meet so many people that either know or are from Syracuse, because my dad he works at the Chrysler plant, and so there's a bunch of people from Syracuse that came here too, and it's just funny to find people that know where I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've spent a good chunk of my life here.
That's
so when did you move to the Midwest? I mean, 6 years old, probably?
Yeah. In 2006, we moved because my dad had to take the transfer. So, yeah, but we go back to Syracuse every summer because all my family is from there.
Oh.
So, yeah, we try to visit when we can. I love it. If I could move back there, I totally would. I don't know if it's just because all my family's there or something, but it's definitely a little bit better than Illinois because you guys have like hills and like terrain.
Yeah, and we have a pretty cool like music scene too. Like there's a couple, I mean, okay, maybe not at this present moment, but like there's definitely some good venues and really good artists based here in Syracuse that just are incredible.
Malone is from Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been some cool people to pop out of there.
Definitely. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice I've ever been given. Definitely my Grammy has told me since I was a kid. She told me that it's not always about what you know, but who you know. And definitely instilled just the motivational factor of try to network as much as you can. Like, try to meet as many people. Because at the end of the day, like, you hear a lot of people's success stories don't always come from they have the biggest voice in the room or all this. Sometimes it comes from just networking. They meet someone at a coffee shop that's just like, and it just spirals into them being signed to like a major label. It's all about just timing and luck and meeting the right people and like landing in the perfect person's lap. So
yeah, I think networking is key because you're right. It doesn't matter like what you've done, like what your resume says, like what venues you've performed at. Like if you know the right people, like it's like game over. Like it's hook up.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I agree. Yeah, that's why I try to expand and branch out and meet new people as much as possible. Collaboration is like a huge thing for me. I really love doing it because like you never know what can happen out of meeting and working with someone.
Exactly. Like with collaboration, especially during COVID, right? Like you saw all these musicians and they're like, oh, well, I play piano, so like I'm looking for a singer, or I play bass and I'm looking for, you know, a drummer or whatever. So like I definitely love the collaboration that's happened during this time because it's like there's literally people, I'm sure you've seen this on like TikTok, people do the side-by-side video, right? Like, okay, so like you're a singer and guitarist and maybe like you hook up with a drummer who's like in Australia.
Thing, yeah.
And it's so cool because it's like that's really neat, right? Because like, okay, maybe you're just a singer and then you're like, let me just collab with someone cool, and then you never know what could happen.
Yeah, like there's this guy, Darion, who I collaborate with a lot, and yeah, I released a song with him called Unless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he was also on my song End of the World. We did a because we used to work together. We used to work at Forever 21 together. And so,
oh, cool.
Yeah, he's been like a really main collaborator in my life. And yeah, it's led to a lot of good things for sure.
Awesome. I love that. So tell everybody in the chat that's watching right now, where can they find you? Where can they buy your music? Like website, social media handles, like plug everything.
If you want to check out my music, just type in Kayla Seeber on any music platform ever. And yeah, you can check all my stuff out there. Also, I have my Instagram account, Kayla Seeber Music, also a Facebook account called Kayla Seeber Music as well. Then I also have a personal Instagram where I'm just like dumb and stupid on. So if you want to type Kayla Seeber, you can find me on that. And yeah, those are my main socials. So.
Love it. So guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Kayla on all her social media channels. And how can people support you as an artist, Kayla?
Venmo exists, and I do love Venmo. So if you feel obligated and wanna give to a struggling artist who I like, the Corona times, to be very serious, sucked as a musician. I went from having like a whole summer booked to barely anything, maybe like a private party or two. So definitely, if you want to support me, just check out my Venmo. It's just I don't know if is it Cash App or Venmo that has like the @ or the $sign. Either one. I think Venmo's the @ sign. If you just want to @Kayla Seeber, feel free to do so. Anything is appreciated for sure. So.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, because you had your whole summer booked up, do you have any favorite venues that you like to perform at?
There's just one venue. It's a vegan restaurant,
mm-hmm.
Pig Minds, and they've always been like really sweet to me. They give me like free vegan food when I'm over there.
Yeah.
And not often where I get to eat. I'm not vegan, but I love eating like vegetarian or vegan food.
Yeah.
So I love playing there for the free food, and they're always like super sweet to me. So it's my favorite venue.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have any upcoming shows booked, like in person, like outdoors?
Yeah, at Pig Minds, actually.
Really?
April 17th, I am playing there. And I haven't played there for like a couple months because everything has been like shut down. It's been very on and off of like, they can have people and then they can't. I'm sure a lot of other musicians can like understand that it's been like a really weird time. Like people will book you and then they have to cancel and then they'll book you again and cancel again. So yeah, but for sure I'm locked in for April 17th at Pig Minds in McChesney Park. So
awesome. And that's right around the corner.
For sure. I appreciate every gig that I can get. So even though they're few and far between, it's still like incredible that things are even looking up and things are opening back up even a little bit at a time. So I'm just really appreciative of everything that has been allotted to me despite the whole coronavirus thing. So
and with the weather starting to get nice,
yeah,
perform outside versus like it was December or January where it was so cold.
Yeah.
Okay, the summer's coming and we can go outside and hopefully these venues open back up.
Yeah, definitely summertime is going to look a lot brighter, both literally and figuratively. So,
of course. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you this evening. But Kayla, you're going to sing a couple songs for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. So my first song, this one is an acoustic cover of my single End of the World that I dropped a couple months ago with my friend Darion, aka Blackheart Poppy.
He's in here, by the way.
I know he's in here. But an acoustic version of that. And yeah, hope everyone enjoys. Oh, if love is just a game, then she's the rebound sitting on the bleachers and the t-shirts on the ground somewhere, pretending not to care. And I'm starting to change. Please, baby, don't tell me it's too late. Give me a crystal ball so I can see into the future. I'm so low, feeling like a la loser. Just sitting in my room, listen to Ken Computer, and reminiscing of the time when you were mine. And hey, girl, I will wait till the end of the world for you to be my girl again. Can you be my girl again? Be my girl, and what's worse is even though it hurts, I still wanna be your friend. Can you be my girl again? Oh, oh, oh. I will wait till the end of the world for you to be my girl again, for you to be my girl. And what's worse is even though it hurts, I still wanna be your friend. Can you be my girl again? Oh, oh, my girl again, girl again. Can you be my girl again, my girl again, girl again? Can you be my girl again, my girl again? Oh, oh.
Love it. That was beautiful. Thank you, Kayla.
Appreciate that. Doesn't sound the same without Derry on it. He does a good little bridge part, and he does it better than me, so. Right. This next song is Tongue Tied by Group Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hope everyone enjoys. Oh, take me to your best friend's house. Go around this roundabout. Oh, yeah. Oh, take me to your best friend's house. I love you then, I love you now. Don't take me tongue-tied, and don't wave no goodbye. Don't take me tongue-tied, and don't wave no goodbye. And don't wait. Oh, take me to your best friend's house. Mama, there we're making out. Oh, yeah. Oh, take me to your best friend's house. I love you then, I love you now. Don't take me tongue-tied, and don't wave no goodbye. And don't wait. Don't leave me tongue-tied, I will stay up all night. I'll get real high, somebody been a fight. My eyes on your eyes, I get them up in the sky. My best friend's house and I will both be still getting by. Don't take me tongue-tied, don't wait no goodbye. Don't take me tongue-tied, don't wave no goodbye. Take me to your best friend's house. Go around this roundabout. Oh, yeah. Take me to your best friend's house. And I love you now. Leave me tongue-tied, don't wait. take me, don't go, so don't.
Yes, Kayla!
Sorry that my phone kept slipping.
Oh, it's okay, it's okay. Djibouti, I think I said it wrong, I don't know. Skinny Atlas, New York, loves Kayla.
Oh, yeah, Skinny
So
Atlas.
I got some upstate New York people in the house. Give it up. Thank you so much. So guys, this is the portion of the show that if anybody in this chat has questions for Kayla, feel free to ask them in the chat below.
Ask me anything. I'm an open book.
Yes, and Aunt Lisa loves you.
Oh, love you too, Aunt Lisa. That's my godmother and my aunt.
So where do you see your career in the next 5 years?
Ideally, I would love to play festivals of like Lollapalooza.
Yes.
That's big because I'm like an hour away from Chicago.
Yeah.
And 2019, and just seeing people upstate on the stage, I was like, wow, I want that to be me. I've had this dream since I was a kid, and I saw the Justin Bieber Never Say Never movie, but I really want to sell out the Madison Square Garden. So if that could happen within 5 years, that'd be really cute.
Yes, so important, like to have those goals, because maybe you know Demi Lovato, she put like I think on Twitter that she wanted to perform at the Super Bowl and she had sung the national anthem. Yeah, and it was so cool because it was like she had, I don't know, maybe it was like 10 years ago or something that she wrote it, and she had tweeted it, and then she reposted it, and it's like, yeah, when you say it and you put it into the universe and like write it down, it happens.
Yeah, manifestation is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it's so cool.
I get into that because I hear it all the time of like, oh, I gotta manifest.
Yeah.
So I need to get into like make like a journal or something like
Yeah.
that.
Or like
documentary, and he said that manifestation journal, and a lot of the stuff in there has come true. So
yeah. Or like you could just like go in front of your mirror and just like say things out loud and like, oh, this is gonna happen.
Yeah. That's funny.
Where would you like to perform next?
Dream wise or like literally?
I guess both.
Dream wise, I would definitely love to play Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
I definitely like have a goal of hitting it big, cross my fingers, maybe by like next year or something. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I could play Lollapalooza, that'd be a really big dream. But literally, I would love to play the House of Blues in Chicago. That was a cool venue that I heard. A lot of cool people have played there too. So
yeah, I feel like pretty much anybody has played House of Blues in Chicago. So
yeah,
very cool.
Really cool venue.
Where would you like to travel next?
When traveling starts opening up, I would love to. I've never been to New York City before.
Really?
I know. I grew up in upstate for a long time, and I've always wanted to see what the hype is about. So
yeah, I mean it's fun. I mean not at this current moment, but when things get back to normal or whatever that means, yeah, I mean it's fun with Broadway and concerts and venues and bars and just anything that you want is just there for you.
Yeah, I'd look because I've been to the West Coast.
Yeah,
all the LA stuff, but I've never seen New York City. So
yeah, and you have to play in New York City. Like everyone wants to play.
Yeah, and I should play my song "New York City Cool" too.
Yeah, it's perfect. What instrument would you like to learn next?
I've always wanted to learn marimba. It blows my mind that people can play it.
Yeah.
So, or the drums. Actually, drums are number one that I want to learn. That it just looks so cool, and it looks like it must be so therapeutic.
Yeah.
I would learn the drums. It seems like I have rhythm, but when it comes to like I've sat behind a drum set, I'm like I don't know. I can't put two and two together. Can't do stuff with my feet and my hands, cymbals, and drummers are underrated.
Oh my God, I know. I think of some of like the best bands and I'm like, oh my God, the drummer is so cool because you're right. You're like boom and like your feet and it's just like such a cool thing to witness.
Same with piano. Like I feel like you have to have a different brain for that.
Yeah.
Like we'll split it in half and like focus on different things. Yeah.
So the keyboard that you have that has all those other instruments, if you will, you don't play the piano?
Not really. They're like, I know a couple of the root chords, but I can't play piano. I'd say I can play it like at 15%, I guess. Like I do chords and I can figure out what sounds good and I can do like bass lines on there and like certain like the easy stuff, but I can't like play piano, I guess.
Mm-hmm. If you were going into a Starbucks, what drink would you order?
This might offend people, but I don't like coffee or tea. I don't know what.
It's okay.
But I like the chai latte from there. If I'm going to get anything from Starbucks,
Yeah.
it's going to be the chai latte with oat milk.
Oh.
Warm, not iced. Like it better warm. But yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker or a tea. I know singers are going to come at me and be like, caramel tea. I don't know.
What do you like to drink then?
Orange juice.
Really?
I do love orange juice or it's like cranberry grape juice. That one's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big into juices, not as much like, I don't know, coffee is bitter to me. I don't see the hype. I don't know where people are like, I can't love black coffee. I'm like, okay, you might as well go out and eat some dirt while you're at it.
I actually feel the same way about coffee because like there's so many people I know that drink it. And I'm like, what? It tastes so nasty and bitter. But no, I know exactly what you mean. But I'm a tea drinker, so like tea is like an experience for me. It's like warm and soothing and like calms me down. And I start my morning with it. And so I was like, okay, so if she doesn't drink tea, then it would just be orange juice or juice.
Yeah, or hot chocolate. If it's like, if I want a warm drink, it's definitely, I've always been into hot chocolate. So.
Oh, hot chocolate is awesome. Do you have a favorite kind?
Nestle. Love that traditional Nestle hot chocolate.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So that's all the questions that we have for this evening, but I just want to thank you for joining me. Kayla, do you have any last words for the room?
I just want to say thank you for having me. Like I said, things have been few and far between, so I definitely appreciate when anyone reaches out and wants to do anything with me. So, yeah, I just really appreciate you having me.
Yes, thank you, Kayla. I had so much fun. Thank you for such an honest, open conversation, sharing your music with us. There's a live show coming up. Say that date one more time for us.
April 17th, Pig Minds. You don't even have to be vegan to like the food. It literally tastes like real. Like if you miss beef, it tastes like beef. So don't even have to be vegan.
And where can people find the information on the show? Like the website, your website, like where are we finding the information?
On Facebook, if you just type in Kayla Seeber Music on Facebook, I update that a lot with the specific dates and everything like that. Also, Kayla Seeber Music on Instagram. I post live videos a lot on there. Yeah, if you just want to check out me being stupid, the Kayla Seeber is a place to be as well. So check out all those. I update pretty frequently and when stuff is happening. So
awesome. Well, Kayla, thank you so much for joining us. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. Guys, follow Kayla, stream the music, buy the music, support. And if you guys don't follow me, I am Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. And I have incredible musicians like Kayla on all the time. Thank you guys for spending your weekend with us, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching, everyone. It was a good time.